What is up, YouTube? It's Coach Razooky, and today we are talking about the difference between being a great shooter and being a great scorer.
I see you, Ravis.
Now, some of the worst advice that you can ever hear is for someone to tell you to shoot the ball however you feel comfortable. We're not taught to squat however we feel comfortable, and we're not taught to bench press however we feel comfortable. There's a certain efficient, safe, and correct way to do things. Now, the other equation to this is that there are also ways that we can all adjust depending on our bodies. So I do understand that not everybody will shoot 100% exactly the same, but there is only one way to teach it, and there's only one way to do it correctly. Now, you also want to just get as close as physically possible to shooting the ball correctly, and this will help you in the long term. Now, whenever I bring this up, somebody always says, well, coach, I have ugly form, but I'm still a knockdown shooter. Or ex-NBA player doesn't have perfect form, but they're still a knockdown shooter. And the problem with this logic is that to understand the difference between being a shooter and being a scorer, and with any form, you might be able to master that form and knock down wide open jump shots. The problem is when you want to be a scorer and you want to be able to score off the right shoulder, off the left shoulder, pulling up to your right, pulling up to your left, pulling up over taller people, catch and shoot threes, mid-range, close range, long range, and you want to have all of those options available to you, that's where your form actually matters more than you realize. And so for these players that you can see here with these ugly jump shots, they are limited for the most part to shooting catch and shoot shots, and that's about all they can get off. So their game will be strictly catch and shoot or at the basket. Whereas Kobe, for instance, or Clay, they can hit a multitude and variety of different shots to help them to become better scorers and playmakers. And so because of everything I explained, it's why I teach shooting the way I do. Very old school, perfect release, and I don't allow for a lot of adjustments there. Now, I want you guys to be phenomenal scorers and to be able to hit threes over right shoulder, over left shoulder, step backs going both directions, and I say this a lot because I want you to have every single option available. No matter what type of defense someone's playing, no matter who is guarding you, I always want you to find a way to score. And if you can shoot the ball correctly with perfect form, you can have every option available to you to become an amazing scorer. And so some of the things that I look for in great scorers is that I want to see originally if you're squared to the basket. So when you go to your shot, I always teach you to keep your feet squared to the basket, because if you have too much of a turn, you're going to struggle shooting in one direction or the other. You'll prefer to drive to your left more because you like to have your feet turned that way, and this way you're limiting your options of scoring to the right side. So I would prefer you to have a nice square stance, and if you need to turn in the air, that is okay. I have no problem with squaring up in the air or a little bit of turn in the air, as long as you have great balance and finish with your wrist inside of the rim. Next, we want to look at your alignment and your rhythm. So can you get your wrist, your elbow, your hips, your knees, and your toes all in one perfect line underneath the basketball? Secondly, can you get that ball up to your set point and then have your hips and knees and ankles locked out, and then release the ball in one fluid motion, right? Even if being a two-motion shooter, you still release the ball pretty fluidly. You don't ever want to cock the ball back before you shoot it forward, or cock it to the left or the right or in any odd direction before it goes forward. You want everything to move completely straight up in one beautiful line before going straight to the basket. Do you finish with your wrist inside of the rim, and then can you keep your offhand off the ball and away from pushing it? If you can do those things, then you can shoot the ball correctly. Like I explained earlier, you might find a way to become a phenomenal shooter even with horrible shooting form, and that is okay. But you're going to be limited to being just a catch and shoot player or finishing at the rim. You won't have a lot of options to actually score over or against people. Your one-on-one game will be very weak, and you'll have to depend and rely on other people to find a way to get you open or to help you get shots or move a ton off the ball. But it's going to be really hurtful and very, very limiting for you as a scorer and a player. So being a shooter and being a scorer is much different, and I hope that helps you to understand that. The two things that are absolutely most important are, can you get your shot off in every single situation possible, and can you make shots consistently? Those two things will help you be a phenomenal shooter and also a phenomenal scorer. So for yourself, you want to recognize and see if you're able to shoot pull-ups to your right, to your left, step backs to your right, to your left, running on a catch and shoot to your right, to your left. Can you turn over both shoulders? Can you shoot it from close range? And can you shoot it from deep range? Those are most of the shots that you'll see in an actual game setting. And if you can hit every single one of those shots and feel very, very comfortable and consistent with that, even shooting those over people, then your form might be solid the way it is. But if you feel really uncomfortable shooting a certain type of shot, you might have to make adjustments to your form. Or you allow yourself to play a game of basketball that is very limited and just let yourself be a special catch and shoot player and not be a scorer. So here's my last piece of advice. Shoot with good form and shoot every single day. Doing those two things will help you to become a much better shooter and a much better scorer as well. If you want me to personally break down your shot and tell you exactly how to fix it, I do that on my Instagram at R2Bball. However, it is not free because I would have millions of people asking me to do that for free. I don't do any work for free, but I'm more than happy to help you with your shot. And if you want to inquire and reach out to me about personally looking at your shot, shoot me a DM and I'll do my best to get back to you. Regardless if you do get a shot breakdown or not, or regardless, all I want is to continue to provide content to continue to help you guys as much as possible. So let me know in the comments below how much more I can help you, or what you guys need in the future, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.